Welcome back, students. Welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 12th science biology, and we are going to see the chapter number 12, that is the biotechnology and its application. We have completed several topics of this chapter, and today we are going to see about the one of the important topic of this chapter, and that is the molecular diagnosis. So let's start with today's lecture. So molecular diagnosis, right? Diagnosis means to diagnose something, to check whether have the disease have been occurred or not, right? So if you want to diagnose anything, right, so if a disease is needed to be diagnosed, right, it has to be at several levels, right? But here when we are talking about the biotechnology, here the molecular diagnosis technique is being used, right? So in that, recombinant DNA technologies are used, PCR is used, ELISA is used. The full form of ELISA is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. So these are the few technologies of the molecular diagnosis, right? That is in which the biotechnological applications is observed, right? So again, this is going to come under the application in medicine. So the early diagnosis of bacteria and virus in body when the concentration is extremely low can be done by PCR, since it amplifies the DNA by several folds. Now see, if you want to go for the early diagnosis of either bacteria or a virus, right? So if there is any presence of any bacteria or virus in your body is there, if you want to diagnose at early stage, right, then at that time when the early diagnosis is taking place, at that time what is that the concentration of the infect of the bacteria or the virus, right, that is a pathogen. So at that time the pathogen's concentration is extremely low, right? So in early diagnosis stages, or you can say in the initial stages of the diagnosis, you can use PCR, that is a polymerase chain reaction. Due to that, it amplifies the DNA by several folds. So this can be, so when the amplification of the particular DNA is carried out, at that time it can easily detect or diagnose whether a bacterial or viral infection is there or not. Next is, this PCR is used to detect HIV virus in suspected AIDS patients and mutation in genes in cancer patients. So the two main disease which you already know, the HIV virus that is leading to AIDS, that is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, as well as the cancer. So these are the two uh, disease which are detected with the use of the PCR in the early stages, right? So when, if for example HIV virus is there, so in early stages also you can detect that with the use of the polymerase chain reaction. As well as the cancer is also been detected. Now cancer is occurred due to the mutations which are occurring in the genes, right? So even the mutations can also be detected with the use of polymerase chain reaction. The another technique which is used over here is the ELISA. And ELISA, the full form of ELISA is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. So this ELISA is based on the antigen antibody interaction. So what is here, what they do is, if the antigen is present inside your body, the opposite of this antigen, the antibody is being interacted, or the antibodies are being produced, and they are binding to it. And if they are binding, then it is known as the antigen antibody interaction. So if the interaction takes place, that means there was the presence of that particular pathogen. So here what happens, in the presence of an antigen, the antibody produced against it can be detected. So what if antigen is present inside the body, right, then the antibody is whatever the antibody against that, and antigen is being produced in your body. So for, say for example, if you are exposed to uh, let's say example HIV virus, right? So then what happens, that your body is not used to that virus, right? So it will start producing some antibodies against those viruses, right? So same way, if with the use of this ELISA, that is this technique, that if you are using ELISA technique, then it can detect whether the antibody production against that antigen is being formed or not. So if the antibodies are produced, that means the antigen is there. In accordance to that antigen, your body has produced those antibodies. So with the use of ELISA also, you can diagnose whether you are being infected or whether you are being whether you have an infection of any kind of virus or bacteria. Next is the hybridization with a radioactive probe, right? So the hybridization means the fusion. So right, so the hybridization with a radioactive probe, that means their probe which is being used over here, that is radioactively labeled. So in this approach, the gene is hybridized with a radioactive probe and autoradiography is used for detection. So what they do is they are using the genes, and the genes are being hybridized with the radioactive probe, right? So that means the gene, and this gene particularly is fused with the radioactively labeled probe. And for this reason, when they are going for the autoradiography, wherever there will be the presence of any of the defect, right, so it is going to show in the autoradiography, and due to this we can observe or we can detect that some type of disease has been detected, right? Next is the regions where mutations is present in the gene will not appear in the photographic film, since the probe will not be able to bind with the mutated part. So this is based on, see, if the probe, this radioactive probe has only the ability to bind with the mutated part, that means the part in which the mutations is taking place. So wherever the mutation would have taken place, in those regions only this radioactive probe can bind, and it shows what the radio auto radiography, right? So here the regions where the mutation is there, so what happens, they will not appear in the photographic film, right, because they are already binded with the radioactive probe. But but the probe will not be able to bind with the mutated part, because if the probe is not able to bind with the mutated part, that means the mutation which has taken place, right? So the mutated part, the probe cannot bind to that region. So what happens, that much mutated part is not appeared in the photographic film, right? And rather, will all the parts will be appearing, or they will be seen on the photographic film, as they are not mutated, right? So here it simply says that the hybridization of the radioactive probe with the gene, right, is carried out. And when the gene is nothing but the DNA only, right? So but if in the gene there is a any of the mutation which is taking place, so what happens, the regions in the gene where the mutation has taken place, at that much region the probe cannot bind, because the complementary base pairings which is needed, that will be not there. For this reason, only that much part is not going to be appeared on the photographic film. So all all other parts of the gene is going to have the uh, exposure of the autoradiography, and it is going to show, it is going to be seen in the photographic film. But the mutated part is not able to bind with the probe. For this reason, that much part is not seen in the photographic film. So this says that there is some mutation which has taken place, and due to this, and this way we can observe, or we can detect whether any of the disease or abnormality is found in the body, right? So this is about the molecular diagnosis. And the next topic is the transgenic animals, right? This is also one of the important topic. The animals that have their DNA manipulated to possess or express an extra gene are called transgenic animals. Now, if a particular animal is having its own genes, right? But uh, if to increase, or if the extra genes from outside are being entered into an animal to express or possess the particular genes, or we can say to see the expression of those entered genes in that animal, is known as transgenic animal. Means ऐसा कोई animal के जिसके पास उसका already उसका खुद का DNA है, right? But still उसको बाहर से भी कुछ एक्स्ट्रा जीन्स उसके अंदर ऐड किए जाते हैं, जिसकी वजह से वो उसकी जो एबिलिटी होती है वो दुगनी हो जाती है, right? So for this reason, this all the type of animals are said to be transgenic animals. This transgenic, the example of it are transgenic rats, rabbits, sheep, cows, and fish. These all are being produced. So what they are doing is, normally the rats are containing several genes. So what they are doing is they are adding some more featured genes into rats, so that now the particular this rat is going to have more expression of the different genes in it. And as it has been added, or as it has been possessing extra genes, for this reason this type of animals can be said as transgenic animals, right? So these are the examples in which the transgenic and which are said to be the transgenic animals. Now, why? What are the reasons why they are producing the transgenic animals? So the first reason is to study of normal physiology and development. Now, this transgenic animals, they serve as models to study genetics, regulation of genes, and their corresponding effects on physiology. Now, see, to study the normal physiology and development of the animals, this transgenic animals are produced, right? So through the use of the transgenic animals, these animals serve as the models. That means to study the genes or the genetics or the effects on the physiology of these genes, right? So all these things are being studied with the use of the transgenic animals. So these transgenic animals are the models on which these all the things are being studied. So with the use of this transgenic animals, they give information about the biological role of a particular factor in the body. So through this transgenic animals, we can get all the detailed information about what type of roles of the different types of factor are present in your body. So what these factors are playing role in the living system, that all the information are being given by the transgenic animals. Next is they also allow to gather information that how the normal functions of the body and its development is affected by genes. So here also they also they also give the information about the normal functions of the body, and also that how with the use of different types of genes, what type of development is affected or what type of development is imparted. Next is the second point is to study the disease, right? So with the again they act as models for studying the different genetic basis of disease. That means if any of the disease is taking place in the body of any organism or of any animal, then with the use of the transgenic animals, first you can know every detail of that animal, and then you can also see the genetic base up of the particular animal, as well as also you can check that what are the genetic basis of that particular disease, that from where it is originating, right? So this studies aid in finding possible treatments of disease. With the use of these transgenic animals, they can also they are important also, and they are also useful in finding the treatments of those disease, right? So they are also acting as models for finding the genetic disease, that is the root of the disease, as well as they are also useful in finding the possible treatments, right? Transgenic models exist of various human diseases such as cancer, cystic fibrosis, rheumatoid arthritis, and Alzheimer's, right? So these transgenic models, right, they are existing in human disease, right? So they have studied with the transgenic models only that this type of disease are being are occurring in the human. So the examples of it are the cancer, cystic fibrosis, rheumatoid arthritis, and Alzheimer's. So these are being studied, or these are understood with the use of the transgenic models. The third function is the biological products, right? So in the biological products, the treatment of disease often requires certain products that are expensive to make, right? In biological products, what happens? While if you want to treat any disease, it requires what? It requires several products, right? And those products are very expensive, right? So in those regions, right, we can use the transgenic animals, and this transgenic animals, they do have same thing in their bodies, same as the humans, right? So example over here is given about the human protein, that is the alpha 1 antitrypsin, right? So this alpha 1 antitrypsin human protein is useful in treatment of the emphysema, and this emphysema treatment is being uh, treated, or this can be treated by the use of this transgenic animals. That with the use of transgenic animals, they are producing more amount of this antitrypsin, alpha 1 antitrypsin protein, and if they are inserted inside the patient's body, at that time they can easily treat the disease emphysema, right? In 1997, first transgenic cow was found, Rosie. The name of that cow was Rosie, and it was produced human protein enriched milk, which contained alpha lactalbumin and was nutritionally more suitable for human babies. Right now, normally the first transgenic cow which was formed was in 1997, and the name of that cow was Rosie, and this Rosie was having the ability to produce the human protein enriched milk. That means the milk of that cow was containing more amount of human protein, and that contained what the alpha lactalbumins, right? And this alpha lactalbumin is normally found in the cow's milk, but it is in not this much amount, right? So the amount of alpha lactalbumin was increased in this cow, and for this reason the nutritionally this cow was comparatively more suitable for the human babies. So this is this Rosie, that is a transgenic cow that is also a transgenic animal. So there were several changes which was taking place in the genes, right? There were several genes which were added into the Rosie to increase the production as well as the nutritional value of the milk, right? The fourth is the vaccine safety test. Now, in the vaccine safety test, the transgenic mice are used to test vaccines for their safety before they are used for humans, right? The format, how you know how the vaccines are formed, right? So the vaccines are what? They are the dead, or they are dead or inactive, the live strains of the organisms, right? So this vaccine, so when they are inserted inside your body, what happens? Your body's been exposed to an antigen, but this antigen which are present in the vaccine, they are not in the active form, right? They are in dead forms, right? So when you are being injected that vaccine, that what happens? The antibodies, according to that antigen, the antibodies are produced inside your body. And when your body is producing those antibodies, that means your body is preparing the immunological response in towards or in against those antigens, right? So this vaccine should be first tested whether any of the vaccine does not contain any active cell or not, because if there is presence of any active cell in the vaccine, then it can also create the disease uh, to the animals as well as the humans, right? So transgenic mice, that means the mouse are there, right? So those transgenic mice are being used for testing the vaccines for the safety of humans, right? Then chemical safety testing is also there, which is also known as toxicity or safety testing. That means there are several chemicals also which are been taken by the humans, as well as some few chemicals are also being given to the animals also, right? So before placing them into the market, the particular these chemicals can be tested before sending to the market or placing in the market, and the transgenic animals also contain that genes that make them more sensitive, right, to those toxic substances that non-transgenic animals, right? So here the transgenic animals are being used in this way, that the transgenic animal contains the genes that make them more sensitive, right? So the chemicals which are being tested on them, so the toxicity of this chemical becomes more sensitive in the transgenic animal, right? So the toxic substances, they can be tested on this transgenic animals, and the non-transgenic animals, that is normal humans or normal animals, cannot take up this and if the bad effects are seen, then the animal may die also, right? The toxicity testing in such animals help us to obtain results in less time. So with this use of the toxicity testing, right, we can obtain the results very fast, and in less time we can get all the detailed results, right? So this is all about the uh, today's topic, and that is, first we saw about the molecular diagnosis, and then we saw that what are transgenic animals and what are the reasons for producing the transgenic animals. So I hope you are very clear with today's topic, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.